Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Planet of the Apes, Issue 2. This is from the 2023 series from Marvel Comics, written by David Walker, art by Dave Wachter, colors by Brian Valenza, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, cover art by Joshua Cassara and Dean White, assistant editor Anita Okoye, edited by Sarah Brunstead. The cover is interesting and has potential. It actually looks dynamic, looks like there's some peril here, even though there's like a dude in an AIM outfit with a chainsaw. I don't really, okay, whatever. But don't get used to that. That's exciting. We don't do that at Marvel Comics anymore. That's a one-off if you find that. So we see some kids talking to some apes in Borneo, and they're hanging out, having fun together. And then we go over to a laboratory, a simian research facility in Ghana in 2016, and it looks like the army of man is trying to take out all the research facilities because they still blame the apes for the virus, even though they're the likely cure for the virus. And then we find out there's one facility that is really like the last stand for the apes. They're the only ones that are really going to be able to do anything, so they're teaching the apes to fight and defend themselves. And then there's a backup story called The Smartest Gorilla in the World, which is not Caesar, by the way. This is something else entirely. This is about Pug. He apparently is a super smart gorilla who banded together a bunch of other gorillas and taught them to fight, I guess. That story was interesting, but it's basically a retold version of Caesar's story from the original Planet of the Apes movies. So I don't know if that was supposed to be an homage or if that was just lazy storytelling. Overall, this issue was a gigantic waste of time. The entire premise of this issue could have been told in 2 pages. There's a lot of wasted space and dragged out storytelling in panels, especially early on in this issue where we see these kids playing with the apes. Completely pointless scene that I guess was meant to humanize the apes and show that the apes and humans can be friends or whatever, but it's like 6 pages of pointlessness, and everything else could have been summed up succinctly in caption boxes in 2 pages. Instead, it plays out like a really bad TV movie where they have to drag it out and show you scene by scene breakdowns. This looks like storyboarding for a TV show, and not a good TV show. The Smartest Gorilla in the World backup thing was fine, but it was basically the Caesar story from the original movie series, so it was redundant and kind of pointless. It was an okay story, but I liked it when it was Caesar's story, so I'm not going to recommend this issue. The art's not bad. I didn't have a problem with that. It's just that the story is incredibly boring and could have been summed up a lot sooner. This is really dragged out, decompressed storytelling. I don't buy comics for that. I'll buy a novel for that. I'll watch a TV show for that. I want some action and adventure. There's minimal action in here. Most of it's implied or 1 or 2 panels. It is not a comic book. This is a storyboard for a movie or a TV show, and I was incredibly bored with it. If you're gonna read this series, get it in trade paperback, where this won't be as boring because it'll be chapter 2 of the book. The pacing is completely off for a serialized medium. If they were doing it as a graphic novel, it would have worked fine, but this is not what that is. This is supposed to be a serialized story, and it's just uninteresting and forgettable. So I'm not gonna recommend this. I'm dropping this book series. Maybe I'll pick up the trade really cheap later down the line at Ollie's or some other bargain outlet, but as standalone issues, this is insanely awful. It just missed the mark on every opportunity it had to make something interesting happen. That's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.